Hello YouTube, it's Arzena and welcome back to another episode of our cozy survival series. Today, we're finally tackling one of the biggest projects I've been looking forward to. A Japanese-inspired barn with a terraced farm. But before we get started, I may have been a little busy off camera. I went mining, and thanks to my Fortune 3 pickaxe, I came back absolutely loaded. We got a ton of diamonds, iron, coal, redstone, lapis, basically every ore I could get my hands on, so I spared you the hours of me running around the caves and getting lost, but trust me, it was definitely worth it. I also headed back to the Nether in search of quartz, and after way too many failed attempts, I finally managed to hit a gas with its own fireball. Before I could convince myself to go back to the Nether and get jump scared again, I distracted myself with a little terraforming. And alas, on my trip back to the Nether, I experienced my very first death in this world. Out of shock, I completely forgot that I had a full set of fire protection, so I just sat there and then realized later on that I had that, so I desperately tried to swim up, and yeah, I didn't make it, unfortunately. Naturally, I rushed back to grab my stuff, and I immediately died again. Thankfully, third time's the charm. I managed to get everything back in one piece, and then I picked up a ton more quartz for XP and left the Nether with both my loot and my dignity. And yes, I somehow did even more terraforming because apparently I can't stop terraforming. Alright, now that you're all caught up, let's actually get started. A quick little thing before we jump in. One of you guys in the comments suggested we name the two happy ghasts, and honestly, I loved it. So from now on, the girl is going to be Mimi, if she could come down. There we go. And the boy will be Timmy. And I think that fits them perfectly. Like any building project, the first thing we need to do is gather all of our materials. I've actually got a rough idea of the palette I want to use, but I'm sure that I'll change about 5 times once I actually start placing the blocks. So today's mission is to collect everything we need, get the layout planned out, and hopefully start putting together the barn. If all goes well, we might even have time to begin working on the terraced farm too. I've been picturing this build in my head for a while now, so here's to hoping it looks just as good in Minecraft as it does in my imagination, because if not, we're just going to pretend it was all part of the plan. Alright, let's go collecting all of the things we need. So I guess we run out a lot of our dark oak wood, and I forgot to take some of the saplings, or I may have turned them into bone meal, so that just means we have to go back to the dark oak forest and get more wood and hopefully some more saplings. Now with our trusty boat, let's get on and sail on to the dark oak forest. And with that, we finally made it to the dark oak forest. So let's just quickly collect some of the logs as well as the saplings so we don't have to go back over and over and over. Okay, I think we've collected enough of the saplings, so let's just quickly go back home because it's getting nighttime. While we're enjoying the beautiful sunset, let me just thank you guys for 500 subscribers. That is actually insane. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for supporting me and motivating me to create more videos for you guys and, you know, entertain you along the way. I'm super duper happy, and yeah, I would just like to give you guys a huge thanks, and honestly, I wish I could give you guys a big hug. Now that we made it back, let's just quickly get back home so we don't get spotted by any mobs around here. Okay, I see Mimi and Timmy at the front of our house. Now let's just quickly run to the house and go to bed. I'm just gonna quickly craft a few chests and place them over where I'm going to build the farm and the barn, which is gonna be over here. Why is there a zombie? Get out. So the build will be right over here, and I plan to add like a sort of tiny lake, and then it will fall down here and make a tiny little waterfall, I guess, and it will flow throughout the terraced farm. And the actual build will be right over here, and there will be quite a bit of terraforming over here because we are obviously going to be making a terraced farm, so that will require quite a bit of terraforming. And with our trusty bone meal machine over there, I am just going to plant a bunch of the trees that we need and bone meal them so we can speed up this process a lot quicker. And I'm also gonna need this podzol, but that just means I need to get a silk touch shovel. How am I gonna do this? Let's just see if I can get a silk touch shovel with the levels that I currently have. I honestly don't know what levels does silk touch appear at, but I'm just gonna give it a shot, try, and hopefully we get silk touch. We don't have enough levels for it. I need to light up the nether portal because I did take it down as well because it was in the way of terraforming. Let's light this bad boy up and head on over to the nether and get our levels up once again. Okay, panic time. I did made some sort of a pathway where we don't have to walk over the soul sand. Not the most glamorous, but it works. Now let's just find more of the quartz. Kind of embarrassing that you're seeing where my death was. I'm just gonna get more. Oh, wait. I forgot to bring gold armor. Wait. I didn't bring any gold with me. You know, I'm just gonna put this gold helmet on inside of my backpack so I never forget to bring it. Now let's pile our way back up again where we were and get some more quartz. I think I've collected enough quartz to get my XP up. I hope this is enough. You know, from all this quartz mining and how we're depleting all of the quartz deposits they have here in the Nether, I think it's best that we add an XP farm to our list of things to build, because honestly, the amount of quartz I've already mined is a lot. And if we don't get an XP farm very quickly, then we will have to suffer going to the Nether over and over again just to get some levels. And it's raining. Let's try to get a silk touch enchantment. I don't really need fortune 3. Okay, let's just reroll this by getting a random enchantment. Is there anything? I mean, I would love to get efficiency 3. We can merge that with my other pickaxe. I mean, shovel. Now let's merge our 2 shovels. And I just wasted all of my levels. I did all of that for nothing. I think what we're gonna do is I'm just going to wait until I get a Silk Touch enchantment on my shovel, and I guess the Podzol will have to wait. So let's just start mining down these trees. And now I chopped down a bunch of trees, enjoying the calming experience of chopping trees in the rain, getting soaked while doing it. And I got an unexpected visit from some very unwelcome pillagers, so I dealt with them and then realized I'd completely run out of spruce saplings. So off to the snowy biome I went to grab some more. Of course, I immediately got distracted by a shipwreck, so I had to check what was inside, and naturally I left with every piece of loot I could carry. Eventually, I made it to the snowy biome and stocked up on as many spruce logs and saplings as I could carry. You know, everything was going great until I accidentally stepped into powdered snow and got swallowed whole. After a very dramatic fight for my life, I somehow managed to crawl back out to my safety. Alright. Now that I've collected everything that we'll need in order to make this barn/farm, let's get building. To start off, we're going to do some terraforming because I found out that the land that I had previously terraformed was not enough for the build that I wanted to do. So here we are, terraforming a lot more. So now you can enjoy this time-lapse of me building this barn/farm. I don't really know how to film building videos, so if you have any, suggestions on how to film those, leave them down in the comments. But here you go. So unfortunately, throughout building the roof of the main part of the barn, I ran out of deep slate, so that means we're gonna have to journey down into the cave again and to get some more deep slate. I don't know why this only occurred to me now, but I decided to plop down a water bucket and ride the waterfall going down into the caves instead of walking down to the caves. I don't know how my mind works, to be honest with you, but yeah, we made it down anyways, and I'm just gonna collect a bunch more cobbled deep slate because this block is very essential to the theme we have going on for our base. So I easily run out of this stuff. So it is gonna be a common occurrence that I'll have a cobbled deep slate shortage. And wow, wasn't that easier just swimming up this waterfall instead of, you know, scrambling my way back up? Alright guys, now that I've collected a ton more cobble deep slate, let's continue. Now let's move on to the terraced farms, which I started that off with. Wow! Would you look at that? Terraforming once again, but this is very essential to this build because the terraced farm has this sort of look, you know? And I also started working on the pond that I wanted to build that, you know, I explained it that it cascades down into a waterfall and yada yada yada. I marked out the shape and then started filling it with different rocks. Honestly, there's no pattern to this. I just placed down every bunch of combination I could think of and called it art, you know? And then I started filling in the pond, which took a lot of time, but eventually we made it filled with a lot of water and it started flowing down. For the finishing touches, I added some trees, some bushes, some shrubs. Basically just spam clicking my bone meal to add some greenery, a bunch of foliage. It's the secret to making Minecraft builds look less dull is to add just a bunch of flowers, a bunch of greenery, a bunch of foliage. Just throw it all in there and it'll look good. So I just added some bamboo, some firefly bushes. I also added, I also added some kelp in the pond, so there's foliage out the pond and in the pond. You get what I mean? You know, it just makes the aura of the build a lot higher. I also added some lanterns so it doesn't seem so dark, so I just added that everywhere to improve the lighting of the area. Because I felt like the pond was lacking some more greenery, I decided I needed some lily pads. And in order to get some lily pads without having to go to the swamp or finding a swamp, I decided to fish for them, which, as you can see, I failed so many times in doing that. So I decided to abandon that plan and give up on my dreams on having lily pads on the pond. Alright, everybody. After what seemed like forever, I'm finally finished with the build. Mind you, this build took about 3 days to do because life happened, but I'm finally done with it, and I'm happy to show you guys what I've done. So here's what we've built. So I made a huge pond over here. I actually struggled to collect some lily pads because I watched the latest LD Shadow Lady video and she was getting lily pads by fishing, and I honestly had no patience, so I just gave up, and hopefully in the future we'll find a swamp to be able to get some lily pads. But for now, this is what I made. I made a tiny little pond beside the barn, and it actually cascades down into a waterfall over here like this, and then it, you know, finishes off in that smaller pond down there. Honestly, there's no bridge yet, so you just have to wade through the water to cross over to the barn. But here is the barn that I've built. This is the barn that I built. I will leave the build inspiration that I had for this video. I did change quite a few things, but most of it is built with the same style that the YouTuber did. And I'm super duper proud of this build. It's super duper nice. I actually did not put anything like decorated the whole thing yet because honestly I'm just too lazy. But hopefully we'll be able to decorate that. But this is just going to be like the barn for our animals, which we have to fill in because we don't have any animals right now, and it looks kind of lonely. So that's one thing we're gonna have to do, is to get some animals inside the pens, and then I want to use the terraced gardens that I made. So it doesn't really look like much, but if you see it on our world map, it looks like this. So I want to plant a bunch of crops over in these terraced farms. Hopefully you'll see the image of what I had in my mind once we start planting stuff. I mean, it's not the most efficient way to plant, but I think the aesthetic of it would be really great since we are doing a very Japanese build. It's the morning now, so let's go and put on our straw hat and start planting all of our crops. Now, I did a ton of terraforming for this build specifically, and obviously I saved you guys from all that boredom because honestly I got really sick of it too while I was making the terraforming, because honestly, who wants to watch 5 hours of me terraforming this land? Put a tiny bit of water and then close it up. Now what I want to do is put some of this stone walls right on top of it and put a lantern down, and that will definitely light up the area and support the growing crops. I guess I did not press record when I was filling up our land over here and filling up the pen with some animals. I'm really sorry you didn't get to see that, but I did fill up our pot of land with some crops, which are honestly 80% potatoes, and I kidnapped a lot of animals and placed them into the pen. Don't worry, I didn't take all of the animals that are on my base because I don't really want to ruin the biodiversity of my base and get some animals to go extinct. But now it doesn't seem to look so barren anymore since we have some life on the barn as well as our crop farm. I'm really sorry that this video is just a huge time lapse and me narrating through it because life happened and I'm not really in the mood speaking when I was filming, and I'm also building, which I can't really focus properly while I'm building and talking, so I hope you guys don't mind that. Also, don't forget to leave questions down below in preparation for the next episode, which is my special birthday episode. And you guys can ask questions like get to know me questions, stuff about you would like to know about me, stuff about school, Minecraft, YouTube, whatever, you name it. I'll try to answer them in the next episode. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even if it's, well, not up to my standards, but I hope you guys still enjoyed nonetheless. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out on any uploads that I post. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love having you guys come along with me for the journey. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye!